The topic of today's session is going to be how to drive more online sales with Facebook Marketplace. The speakers today are myself, David Waltzman. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Feedonomics. What I do on a day-to-day basis is work to expand the feed ecosystem and reduce friction points with your data. So that can be working with e-commerce platforms to figure out more effortless ways to syndicate product data. It could also be with channels like Facebook Marketplace to more easily ingest product data for listings, order management, etc. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about what we've been partnering with Facebook on. And Nathan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, David. Hey, everyone. Nathan Lamb here on behalf of Facebook. I'm a business product marketing lead on commerce, which includes Facebook Marketplace, as well as IG shopping. So I'm super excited to be here today to work with David, as well as to talk a little bit more about Facebook Marketplace, our integration and partnership, and also to talk a little bit about how you guys can take advantage of that. I've been at Facebook for nearly 2 years. Prior to that, I've been at a variety of different tech companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Uber, and Box, as well as being in the marketplace space itself. So I'm super excited to have a chance to work on a product like commerce, and also to bring that technology to business like yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. So on today's agenda, we'll start off with why Facebook Marketplace, transition into how we get set up and catalog and data management, followed by how Feedonomics can help, and some platform features enabling that on a more tactical level, and the full service offering from Feedonomics and Facebook together. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Nathan.
Cool. Thank you so much, David.
Mhm.
So to just kick this off, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, what does Facebook exactly have to do with commerce? And oftentimes, when we talk about commerce at Facebook, a lot of businesses themselves will ask us, wow, you guys actually do commerce? In what way? And so we actually have to rewind back and to think about how commerce came to be. And so for hundreds of years, when you think about shopping and buying, it was actually a relationship that was initiated by a person's need, and it was fulfilled by a shopkeeper's expertise. It was a personal experience that when you were going to a store, you knew that you were going to interact with the clerk or somebody that you're purchasing from with an intent to buy. And so that formulated a relationship between you and that store. And that's something that we want to bring back to businesses like yourself. In this digital age, we see that happen quite frequently in terms of transactions. And once the transaction's over, you don't get to retain that relationship. For some reason, when technology has been inserted into the commerce experience, you kind of lose touch of that connection, and that's something that Facebook has been trying to work. And so when you think about Facebook, over the last 15 years, Facebook has built communities by connecting people to their families, friends, and people and businesses that they love, bring the world a lot closer together. So it's not something that just came out of nowhere. It's something that at the core of our product, in terms of what we're doing, that is essentially how we think about connection as well as the interaction with people. We do that by bringing the people closest to you, and we hope that we can actually bring that similar feel from a business to the customer themselves. And so when you think about how it came to be, when you think about what we've actually done, we actually started with groups, and Facebook groups was a product and technology that Facebook created to actually bring something that had similarities of what people were interested in closer together. So when we first started, we had people that loved sneakers. We had people who loved snowboarding. We had people who were brand new parents who didn't need clothes anymore, but they wanted to exchange these goods because they no longer needed it. And so they would join these groups, almost like forums in a way, but there were ways for people to bring individuals who had similar interests together so that they could talk about these topics. And what naturally came to be was a way for people to purchase goods off of each other. When I didn't need a snowboard anymore that was lightly used, I wanted to give it to someone who might be interested in buying a intro snowboard. If somebody was outgrowing their clothes for the toddlers or toys that they didn't need anymore, they wanted a way to sell that and make a couple extra dollars, because what were they going to do with it from their homes? And so that's where Facebook groups came to be. And we saw that natural trend of commerce happening on a day to day. Now, when we thought about a product, we wanted to up level that experience, and we wanted to bring that experience in a way that catered to the consumer's needs with new features and technology that would actually make that experience a lot better. And what came out of that was Facebook Marketplace, is what you're seeing on the screen today. So Facebook Marketplace is a way for people to buy and sell goods, not only locally now, but as well as across different states and across different regions. And so when you think about that, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, I've heard about Facebook Marketplace and I thought it was more of a C2C experience. You would be correct. Facebook Marketplace launched about a few years back, starting with C2C, obviously buying local goods from here and there. But we, since then, in the last year or so, we've been beta testing a product that is bringing B2C also to customers as well. And that's the experience that we want to create, is that not only can you look for used goods, but you can also look for new goods as well. And that's where businesses like yourself can offer that experience. And the way that we've actually built the experience within the app makes it very easy for people to differentiate used goods that you can buy locally from individuals within the same city, as well as new goods from directly from your store. And so that experience allows you to bring your story to life and how you want to represent that brand. And so when you think about the different key benefits of Facebook Marketplace and what that actually does, there's really three things to really highlight here. You're extending your reach. And when you're extending your reach, it's a way for you to reach customers that you might not have a similar demographic. And we'll talk about different businesses that have experienced this in the past, where they've seen a lot of different demographics that they're pulling in that are purchasing from their store now that they didn't see before. Oftentimes, you're a store owner, you know exactly who you're targeting to. And that's probably, for the majority of the time, that's absolutely correct. But what about the ones that you're leaving behind, right? The time that you don't have to invest in those individuals. And so Facebook Marketplace is a way for you to extend that reach to where they're already buying, because they're already coming to Facebook Marketplace anyways. Facebook Marketplace has 1 in 3 people who are already using Facebook are using Facebook Marketplace today. So you can imagine that reach in terms of the size that you'll be able to get to, and then bring in the new demographic that you're not essentially reaching today. We create a personalized customer experience for you. So what exactly does that mean? Well, unlike most marketplaces where you can search for your items, obviously you can also do that in Facebook Marketplace. But the really unique part about Facebook Marketplace is that we surface the most relevant products to the customers. And so without them having to do anything, we do that by having learning algorithms that monitor things that you've liked, the interests that you've liked before, pages that you've liked, maybe brands that you've liked. And so if you look at my page and you look at my feed, it's going to be completely different than David's feed. My feed is full of sneakers and shoes and stuff like that, because that's what I am interested in. That's stuff that I've actually clicked on and have liked and commented on. And that's what my friends have liked, or my families, et cetera, et cetera. And so through these different things, the feed itself will personalize to yourself. The more you use it, obviously, the more it'll tailor to what your likes are. And then you'll see different things. And that's essentially how we're able to surface your products to the most relevant customers, making sure that there's a personalized experience to each consumer that's using our product. And then last but not least, listing on Facebook Marketplace is actually free. And so unlike a lot of Facebook Marketplaces out there, where you actually have to pay to list the number of products or SKUs that you actually have, Facebook Marketplace does not charge a listing fee for you to list. So essentially, if you're using Feedonomics today and you have, let's say, thousands and thousands and hundred thousands of SKUs, all of that can actually be ported in without any cost. And so the only cost, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, is a selling fee. And the selling fee is actually a small fee that actually just pays for your transactions and takes care of that credit card transaction fee. But it's not something that we charge in terms of every, like, a cut from the product that you actually make. And so that's the difference in terms of the different things that we believe that will bring benefits to your business itself. And so if you think about why this is important and how we're creating a better shopping experience for people and businesses, Facebook is actually investing in a variety of different channels as well as tools for you to use. We split this obviously by the Facebook side and the Instagram side, as you can see from the top and bottom. But from a Facebook side, when you're using Facebook Marketplace or just using our products in general, you'll see that it will surface up in Newsfeed. You'll see that it is surfacing up in Marketplace, and you'll see that there's a page shop that you can actually use to make sure that your story is being told in a way that is resonating with your customers. Not only that, when you are using Instagram, we are also working with the team on Feedonomics with Instagram shopping as well. You have access to feed, stories, explore, and shop on profile. We won't dive into Instagram too much today, just because this webinar is focused on Facebook Marketplace. But at the end of the day, you also have access to that. And so this is why we think that this is such a great opportunity for you guys. When we think about our commerce stack at Facebook, it's really just a one stack fits all. And what that means is that you can actually come through 3 different ways. You can actually come through direct API integration, which are for more of our tech savvy, very large corporate companies that we work with. Commerce Manager, which is a self-serve mechanism and tool that you can use if that's what you want to come through. But the one that we prefer is actually through a platform partner such as Feedonomics. And the reason why we say that is that, for one, if you're already using this as an existing customer, the integration is super simple. It just ports right over. You're already using a platform that you're used to. But if you're not, it's also a really great way to get onboarded because they take care of everything that you need for you. It's not something that you actually have to go through and maintenance and do. It's once you're there, you're there. And that's the great thing about the platform itself, is that you have the support of these amazing platform partners that we're working with to get onboarded. And once you're onboarded, we have a unified commerce stack, which provides the catalog and PDPs, the order management, payments, reporting, integrity. All of that is actually under our hood for you to take advantage of. And you have access to all of our channels. So the Facebook channel for Marketplace is the same as the one for Instagram. And it's a one-time integration type of thing. So it's not so much of, oh, I have to integrate with this, I have to download this and make it happen. It's, if you have an Instagram account, you connect your Instagram account. If you have a Facebook Marketplace paid shop, you connect that account. And then once that happens, you're good to go. And Feedonomics will take care of your PDP and catalogs and all that good stuff. And so what I want to share with you guys is just some of the different success that we've seen on Facebook Marketplace. Now, it's important to note that Facebook Marketplace is obviously in beta, right? And so when you onboard, it's definitely a new experience. So you're coming along the journey with us, and I want to make sure that you understand that this is still in beta. It's not something where like, hey, if you come on board, you'll see tons and tons and tons of transactions. You might, and that's definitely the hope, obviously, that we want to give as well. But the benefits that you get from working with us in terms of being a beta in this is that you get obviously first mover advantage. You're on the platform already. You can provide suggestions and feedback back to our team. You're actually part of the consumer marketing and a lot of the stuff that we're doing for promotions and all that good stuff, you can actually take advantage of. So when we're doing consumer marketing pushes from our team from Facebook Marketplace, the businesses that are on the platform actually get the most limelight, whether that's through newsletters, through email marketing, through billboards, through digital, et cetera, et cetera. We are using the businesses that are on our platform that are already part of our ecosystem to showcase and promote and do all that good stuff. So you get that benefit being the first ones on the platform. And and this is not open to everybody. So definitely talk to the Feedonomics team in terms of if you're the right fit. And once you are, you get in, that's essentially where we're going to push from there. And so let's harp a little bit more on Hats Unlimited and see the success that they've seen. So I think there's a couple things that we want to point out that we consistently see in a lot of our businesses that work with us, is that they consistently see an increase in their online revenue directly attributed to Marketplace, right? They see more purchase orders, given that this is all happening on the back end. And what I mean by that is that when you're using Facebook Marketplace, there's nothing that you guys actually have to do. Once you've integrated and ported in your SKUs and everything into Facebook Marketplace, the algorithm and the business itself does its thing on its own. You don't have to type anything. There's nothing that you have to update unless you're changing the products. But if you're using Feedonomics and you're using one of our platform partners, you're already doing that from your normal day-to-day. And so everything is on the back end. When orders come through, it pings your system just like if someone was to purchase directly from your website. That says, hey, there's a new order that's coming in, right? And you fulfill that order just like you would fulfill any order. So really, there's nothing that you guys have to do. It's all on the back end, making all that progress and all those sales on its own. And if you're not seeing sales, and that's obviously something that we can provide some best tips and practices for you guys as well. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that you guys invested in terms of not making it happen or making it happen. It's something that should happen naturally because it's an organic channel in some sense, unless you obviously want to invest in ads, which is something that we also support from Facebook to boost your sales, right? And so Hats Unlimited was one of these businesses that we've been working with. They saw obviously a lot in terms of online sales generated, and they have 4 brick and mortar locations, and digital has been one of their strongest ones as well. And they've also seen a lot lower merchandise return rate on the purchases that are made through Facebook. So we're super excited to see the success of our businesses. And we have a lot of different other case studies on our site as well that demonstrate similar numbers, or if not better, than what you see here today. So we're excited that this is part of the success that we've seen from a lot of the businesses. And so one other thing that I want to mention is just the different brands that are a part of this part of Facebook Marketplace, as well as IG Shopping. And so when we look at some of the biggest partners here, obviously a lot of these brands probably pop out to you as like, wow, like they have Nike, or they have Kith, or Zara. And something to note is that a lot of these brands aren't actually as big as you might think. A lot of these are very small brands that we work with on a day-to-day as well. SMBs, brick and mortars that only have one location, small location. And they've also performed really well. And we want to see those small businesses also perform just as great as some of these bigger businesses. And so whether you're big and small, Facebook Marketplace obviously caters to both audiences. And it's all about making sure that your products are seen through the limelight of the merchants and the businesses and customers that matter most, that are catered to them, not just the ones that you think that they need, but exposing your products to new customers. And we've consistently seen that from a lot of our businesses that have echoed, oh, I didn't know that my demographics had people that were in their 40s or 50s, or like to do XYZ, or from this region. And so that allows a lot of our merchants to take bigger risks, to place orders on things that they want to test, that they might not have been able to do before, right? And so a lot of the products have been selling out that might not have gotten a lot of limelight on their website. And so that's the great part about Facebook Marketplace, is that a lot of your products that you might not be pushing as hard are getting exposure to merchants that might actually find that very, very helpful. And so that's something that we're super excited about. And so, oops. Last but not least, I do want to chime in terms of how you're able to set up your Facebook shop. So if you're interested in taking Facebook Marketplace and getting started, the first thing that you actually have to do is set up your Facebook shop. Most of you, I hope, if you're using Facebook ads already, have a Facebook shop in some sense. But if not, all you have to do is click your shop tab on your Facebook page. Once you're there, you can click on the Commerce Manager button. It will be reflected to sell on Facebook Marketplace page in Commerce Manager. And this is your commerce management tool. If this is too hefty in terms of that, I would take a screenshot of this right now, so that you can keep this, or you can wait for the recording, but definitely take a screenshot if it helps you. Once you're within Commerce Manager, there's a few steps that you have to go through in terms of prompting to link your business accounts, which is super simple. But then you just set up your payouts and all that kind of good stuff. And once you're there, Feedonomics will actually pick up the last step, which is making sure that your catalog is, you create a catalog and that gets imported into the products. And so that's where Feedonomics comes in and makes a super great perspective for us to get things started and ramped up. And I'm sure David will talk about a little bit about this as well. If this is too difficult for you in terms of you not being as tech savvy as you would hope, our team will definitely help you get started as well. And so from now, I will hand it over to David for him to get started so that he can talk a little bit more about his portion.
Excellent. Thank you, Nathan. All right, and just a reminder, if folks have questions, please make sure to submit them in the chat window. We'll definitely make sure to address them at the end of the session. All right, so now that you understand all the benefits of going to Facebook Marketplace, we'd like to talk more about how Feedonomics gets you there. So some of you are existing customers already, some are new to Feedonomics. So real quickly, Feedonomics takes all the product data from your e-commerce platform, whether that be through API, through very standard ones like a Shopify or BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and so on, or even custom websites. We've taken that data and we use all the different properties available to create really amazing titles, categories, and descriptions, as well as custom labels and a variety of other fields that are useful for each platform. We then take that master data and syndicate it to lots of different destinations like Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so what's the value in syndicating it? Well, it's not just sending the same data to each place. We understand what gets the best performance in each of those channels, and we write export-specific optimizations to each of them. So adding on Facebook Marketplace is a natural extension for us, and we'd love to support you in doing that. Optimizing the catalog is critical. Depending on the platform, let's say whether it's Google Shopping or Facebook or a variety of the other ones, the hundreds that we support at Feedonomics today, they all have different criteria. And it could be the character length of the title or of the description, or maybe the color needs to be cyan instead of blue. The differences are many, especially in the world of marketplaces. It's still the Wild West. And so instead of you having to learn what all those differences are, we have a team of specialists at Feedonomics that solely work on marketplaces. So they're very intimate on all the details and nuance, but they also know folks at Facebook by name that they're getting support from. And whenever there's API changes, which can happen fairly frequently, our team is staying up to date on those and doesn't tax your IT teams with those updates. To make sure all this process runs smoothly, it's a good idea to have an automated quality check before the data goes out. In Feedonomics, we call this data governance. And I think some of the really important ones would be making sure you have good links, or that critical categories are populated, or that and any other field that you feel is mission critical is there. And we could set these thresholds as percentages or absolute values, but we have the flexibility to send an alert to our team or to your team or both, but we can also stop the exports, because sometimes you're going to get a bad batch of import data, and rather than get massive disapprovals on your platforms, sometimes it's best just to do a quick gut check, fix the problem, and then send out the good data. Another common thing that we see is a lot of PPC channels have vertical or portrait images, but on Facebook, what shows a lot better is square images that are 500 by 500 pixels. And so we don't want you to have to retake all of your photos again, or have your creative team have to adjust the photos. What we can do at Feedonomics is actually what's called image padding, where we can add on more background and make sure that it looks really good on platform. As we get more advanced with the channel, it's a good idea to do some title A/B testing. So maybe your brand should be at the beginning, which is usually what we do as a best practice, but maybe it would be better at the end. Or maybe the brand shouldn't be there at all because someone just really wants a yellow skateboard and they don't care who it was made by. Image testing, so maybe the bottom of the skateboard looks better than a top view. These are all things that we can test when you're driving the catalog by feeds. We can also try adding in other product attributes like color, material, size, and anything that could possibly enhance performance by providing more details or different details in the title. We also find custom labels to be quite useful when we're doing A/B testing, so that you can categorize products, whether that's based on performance or margin or cost or maybe availability in different regions. So again, this is kind of like a next level optimization, but definitely something that we can execute well on the platform. With regards to marketplaces specifically, we do two-way communications. So in our traditional paid search, you're just pushing data in one direction, right? From the e-com platform through Feedonomics to the shopping channel. With marketplaces, it's a little different. You actually have to communicate back from the marketplace through Feedonomics to your e-commerce store and then go back the other way again. So why is all of that necessary? Well, we have to pull the order from Facebook Marketplace, right? We insert it into your e-commerce platform, and then there's a tracking number from your e-commerce platform that we have to bring back to the marketplace, right? And we do this all every 15 minutes to minimize any overselling. If you're selling on multiple marketplaces and you want to make sure to avoid overselling, we can create custom rules to segment your inventory across them so that that's not an issue. In Feedonomics, we have a consolidated dashboard to view all of your marketplace orders. So you would see Facebook Marketplace along with Amazon and Walmart and eBay and all the other ones that you're doing with us currently. This is a nice view to make sure that everything's running smoothly and on target. Typically, we find that our clients have a source of truth that may be their ERP systems or even their e-com platforms. But this is a great way for us to make sure that we're running on all cylinders. Okay, so we've talked about a lot. Some of those concepts you may have been familiar with. Some of them may have been foreign. That's okay, because with Feedonomics, we have 24/7 support and we're a fully managed feed service. Right? So we work with clients to set up the connections in the beginning and where they're going to go to at the end, or in the case of Marketplace, the additional business systems required to communicate things like inventory and orders. But our dedicated team of analysts handle it all for you, and they live and breathe this all day. So what I'd like to offer you for attending today is a complimentary feed audit. We have a set of best practices that we usually find to be low-hanging fruit for our clients when they're going onto a new channel. And so we'd be willing to do this free of charge. It's usually several days to turn this around. And so you'll be getting a follow-up email after the webinar with the opportunity to participate in the complimentary feed audit. I highly recommend it. And even if you're not ready to buy tomorrow, it's just a good idea to see what the experts think of the current state of the feed and how we can improve down the road. Okay, so now I'd like to go over to some of the questions. Let me open up our window here. Okay, so for Nathan, if you're already using Instagram checkout, are you automatically in Facebook Marketplace?
So that's a great question. So essentially, as I mentioned earlier, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that because we're using a one unified commerce stack, you are qualified, and obviously in a way that the systems are talking to each other. All you have to do is link the accounts and get that set up. But there isn't anything that your tech team would need to do in the back end to make it compatible, if that makes sense. So it's not additional build or work that you would need to do, especially with Feedonomics or a platform partner that you're working with. It's more of a turning on the switch and making sure that your Instagram account is connected, as well as making sure that everything is lined up in that sense. So hopefully that answers your question.
Sure, thank you. And let's see, another one here, I'll take this one. How is the tracking done for orders and revenue? Does it report back to Facebook only, or can it do GA reporting as well? Okay, so with regards to orders, whether it's Facebook Marketplace or any other destination, they're not going to be receiving order information or transaction information from any other channels besides the ones that are relevant. So there wouldn't be any crossover between Facebook and Google here. It would also be worth noting that the transactions for Facebook Marketplace happen on Facebook. Right, so with regards to Google Analytics, that wouldn't, since they're not finding it through Google, it wouldn't be on GA. The exception to that would be if there, let's say, was let's say a Google Shopping ad, a PLA, and they clicked on it to get to Marketplace. But if the journey started on Facebook, then that data would be separate. All right, I have another one for you, Nathan. And that is, how would you compare Instagram checkout to Facebook Marketplace performance-wise?
That's a great question. So performance-wise, I think it's different. And so let me explain why. And so with Facebook Marketplace, everything happens on the back end, right? So once you integrate and your PDPs and all your SKUs get uploaded into the system, it automatically does its job, as in terms of surfacing your products to people who are relevant and correlated with that consumer. And so with Instagram shopping in terms of checkout on Instagram, that's something that your team will have to consistently do. What I mean by that is that in order for someone to discover your products on Instagram shopping, you have to be posting tags. Tags in terms of are for those who aren't aware what tags are, for a Instagram post itself, let's say you are selling a shirt or you have a lifestyle photo of me wearing that shirt. If I click on that post, then a tag will pop up on that shirt saying that, hey, this is XYZ shirt owned by that store. And when you click it, you can actually check out that product, right? So in order to increase your the possibility of a consumer purchasing your shirt, you have to post more posts with tags that are applicable to that item. And so for Facebook Marketplace, it does it on its own. For Instagram, there is a behavior that you have to train and do more often than not to get people to purchase, unless they're very much looking for that shirt directly on Instagram for your brand. And so I would say that the performance varies. The experience is definitely different, but it's really about that consolidated story that you're able to tell. So the experience that you're able to put on Instagram will be different than your experience that you're going to be doing on Facebook Marketplace. But together, that experience creates the best commerce experience for your customer in every different channel that you're using. So it's hard to say that one performs more than other. It just depends on how often are you going to post on Instagram, how often are you going to be tagging? Because if you're somebody that never tags, then your likelihood of of it actually converting will be a lot lower, right? So that's a best practice. Whereas in Facebook Marketplace, we just want to make sure that you're uploading the highest quality of images and PDPs and all that kind of good stuff, and then letting our system kind of do its thing. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. I'll take the next one, and that is, does Facebook Marketplace charge any types of fees? So as Nathan outlined earlier, there is a 5% fee off of the sale of the product, and that covers your payment processing and product insurance. There are no additional hidden fees. So that is the one number. And it's unlike some of the other marketplaces we support at Feedonomics that may have a listing fee, a seller fee. Some even have memberships that their clients pay for, to get preferential shipping. So there isn't any of that on Facebook Marketplace. Let's see, Nathan, another one for you. If you had to list one reason why we should integrate with Facebook Marketplace, what would it be?
I think we went over some of these earlier on, but if I had to just choose one, it would honestly just be the fact that once you've integrated, there's nothing that you would essentially have to do. It runs on its own, right? In a sense that once your products are uploaded into Facebook Marketplace and our algorithms are doing its thing, surfacing the product to the customers that make sense, it's almost like a channel that kind of adds bottom line revenue to what your total sales are without you having to think about it. And hopefully, the hope is that it does well. Obviously, the channel does well, and you look back and you're like, wow, Facebook Marketplace helped me generate X, Y, Z, and I really didn't have to do anything, right? I know that some marketplaces you have to update, you have to modify, you have to take things out, et cetera, et cetera. But since everything is connected on the back end through the feeds, such as through Feedonomics and all that good stuff with our other platform partners as well, it's not something that you have to manage, or there's not a lot of overhead, or virtually limited minimal overhead that you actually have to do. And so it's good to just add another channel. If that's the case, like what is there to lose but to gain more reach and access to a demographic that you might not have before?
Excellent. And another one for you, Nathan. Does Facebook do additional marketing for merchants on Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so this is somewhat what I touched on before is that our consumer marketing team does do a lot of promotional marketing when it comes to holidays or events or things that we're trying to drive. And you can count on us to select from the merchants that are on our platform today through Marketplace. And since Marketplace is currently in beta, that means more opportunity for your business to get selected if that's what we're trying to do. So, for example, um, holiday season last year, we were looking for apparel and beauty and all that kind of good stuff to surface up for our not only our newsletters but just our campaigns that we're running, right? And so a lot of our businesses got featured on top of that. A lot of things where we do promotional units as well within our feed also get selected from that. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities. It just depends if your brand as well as your products fit what we're looking for at that time. Maybe we want to harp on Mother's Day, which we're trying to find things that are a little bit more geared towards mothers. And if you're doing outdoor fishing supplies, maybe that may or something that might not be as applicable, then yeah, maybe you won't get selected. But there are opportunities throughout the year that we do, and we do select from the current merchants that are on our platform. So there is that.
Gotcha. And another one, Nathan. Is Facebook Marketplace going to extend their services outside the US? If so, when?
Yeah, that's a great question. So long story short, our goal is definitely to expand our product outside of the US and internationally as well. I believe that you're seeing that already with IG shopping and checkout on Instagram, where we're looking at different regions that would facilitate the best move for us. And so as of today, Marketplace is only in the US today, as of right now. But hopefully, and I can't give you guys an exact time date or promise that it's going to come in XYZ months, but yes, where our plan is to extend. Our plan is to obviously get this into more markets. Um, and hopefully that's helpful for you.
Okay. And I'll take this one. On average, how long does it take for me to integrate Facebook Marketplace through Feedonomics? All right, so the answer is it varies. If you're already doing listings on Facebook, let's say with DPAs through Feedonomics, then the catalog part should be fairly straightforward. We need to make sure you have the commerce manager set up and all the order integration and so on. We have had clients where everything is automated, on sellers on the smaller side where it's all in Shopify, and we've launched them in a day. We've done that a couple times now, and we're getting much better. I would say for marketplaces as a whole, the biggest dependency is really on communication, right? If someone's ready to talk and wants to go through all the steps, or if it's emails once a week, and then also if there's other business systems involved outside of the e-commerce platform, then there's usually other stakeholders like IT, maybe accounting and finance, maybe operations. And so getting buy-in from all those parties could possibly take longer, but it's not a barrier on the Feedonomics side. So again, typically we see about a month. All right. Nathan, what if my customers view shop, but they live in London? Since Marketplace is only available in the US, what will happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. So because Facebook Marketplace in terms of checkout is only available in the US, and if your business is one of those businesses that are international, for example, a great example is Nike, right? Like they definitely have people in Europe and London that are looking at the products, or in China or Africa, et cetera, et cetera. And so what will happen is that if the customer resides in a location outside of the US, they will not see the checkout on Instagram or checkout on Facebook, or even the checkout on Instagram button. What they will see is just more of the offsite checkout, which are if your business has already enabled offsite checkout, that is basically surfacing a button that says view on their website, right? That goes directly to their website, and so they will see the default experience that they've always seen before after you're done integrating. But let's say that they are in the US, like for example, if I'm in New York, then I will see the checkout right now type of button, right? And you can complete that checkout like anyone would if they were using Facebook Marketplace or IG Shopping. So hopefully that's helpful. Once we open the other regions, they will also see that similar experience where they're going to start seeing checkout on Instagram or checkout on Facebook and that kind of type of thing. On-site checkout is what we refer to it. But until then, that's kind of where we are. So it won't hinder your experience or your customer's experience.
Excellent. Let's see, I'll take this one. I'm not sure our team is tech savvy enough to deal with the integration. Am I out of luck here? Um, Again, Feedonomics is doing most of the heavy lifting in the background. So there's not expertise in marketplaces that's required for implementation. We will need access to some development resources at your company. If it's not as straightforward as, again, everything being in Shopify, then we'll work with someone. In the case that those other business systems are involved, what we do is called an FTP integration. And essentially, we provide a list of different fields that we need to get updated. And your team would create that export. So they dump a file, we pick it up, ship it, bring it back, and so on. So there is some technical required, but marketplace specific, Feedonomics has got it covered. Let's see, Nathan, another one for you. Where would my product ads appear on Facebook?
Or can you repeat that again?
Yes, where would my product ads appear on Facebook?
So product ads. If whoever asked that question could clarify, that would be great. My assumption on it is if you're asking where your ads would show up, then it would show up on a business manager, which is essentially your hub per se in terms of everything. So we have a commerce manager, and we have a business manager. Your business manager is everything that you would essentially be able to monitor all your ads through Facebook on. And your commerce manager is where you would be able to monitor everything in terms of your shop and things integrated into checkout on Instagram or on Facebook Marketplace. And so between those two products, you should be able to resolve any of the ads and stuff that you guys would be able to do. Let me try to dig into a little bit more and see if this would also answer your question, if my assumptions are correct. So with Facebook Marketplace, you can actually do ads as well, or surface your ads, cross-pollinate your ads to Facebook Marketplace. And so that process is done through Business Manager, similar to how you would set up your normal ad for yourself. The only difference is that you would actually click a box, and as you're going through the flow, it'll say, where do you want to cross-pollinate or cross-share this work. Sometimes it detects the product that you're using is like, let's say it's a furniture or it's like a chair or something, and it'll say, it automatically select Facebook Marketplace as one of those locations to cross-share because it's a relevant feed unit where obviously people are looking for products, right? And so you can unselect that or select that. That's an option for you to take. But there's also different features that we're working on as well, like dynamic ads and stuff like Facebook Marketplace that you can access, but it's all done through Business Manager.
Got it. Okay. And the last question here, I'll take it. Is there a limit on how many SKUs Feedonomics can process? It's good that we're ending it on a softball question. Feedonomics processes billions of products a day. And so with that, the simple answer is no, there's not a limit on how many SKUs. So whether your catalog is 100 or 100,000, we can process all that information, syndicate it to as many channels as you like. Whether or not all those SKUs make sense for every shopping channel and marketplace is another question that you need to answer for your business and kind of think about what's going to be selling. As Nathan mentioned earlier, briefly the experience with checkout on Instagram, you can list products much more selectively. So you're not going to be showing tagging 100,000 products a month on your Instagram, but there's different scale allowable on Facebook Marketplace. So with that, I think we're done through the questions. If there's I'll open one more time. I believe that was it. Last call. Oh, we got one. So if a UK client is integrated to list their catalog on Facebook Marketplace, they do sell they do sell internationally, but only 15 to 20% of revenue comes from the US market. Would you still recommend the client to list their products even though they are based in the UK? Nathan, is that allowed today?
So generally speaking, it depends because I understand what you're saying. So if your business is based in the UK and you might have a US entity, um, that might be something that we can do. But it's more of a question for our tech team to see if that is something that we can support currently. If it's something where we can prioritize, I think that that's definitely viable. But I don't want to give you a false answer or an incorrect answer. So if you're interested in trying, that's definitely something that we can sync. And I'm sure David and the team will be more than happy to take your inquiry and your question, and then we can connect with our team after this to just double check. So I would say that it's worth a try. Obviously, like if it's only 20% or a small percentage of your business, I would still say why not, right? Like at the end of the day, if eventually we will expand. If it's something that you want to test out, then great. It's also a way to get your products in front of more US consumers, right? And maybe expand in that sense. So it's not just because it's 20% today doesn't mean it could be bigger. And hopefully it would be bigger for you guys. I wish the best for your business. So getting it in front of more customers would probably be beneficial overall. I think that the question that comes to be is whether or not our system would allow it, depending on where your business is and what those tax implications would mean.
Got it. Thank you. So that's all the questions in our session today. I wanted to thank everyone for giving us an hour of your time today, and stay healthy and and stay home. And Nathan, thank you for joining us today, and look forward to doing more in the future with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you much, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.